right. We are live, Gino Barassa. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing really well. I see we must have already had some early donations because you shaved. So what's up? I thought you were going to go full on, mountain man for a while.
No, I went. I released the beard that happened at a very low level. Actually, my wife wanted them to go at a very early level, so I did. I felt a little bit like Watson in season 3 of Sherlock, if you've seen that. But I was getting a few negative comments. Well, everyone that has joined us here, welcome to the premiere episode of the Creation Wars. This is the weekly show where we get together masters of the Arcanum. We all come in here to an amazing photography competition that's somewhere between The Voice and Thunderdome. But you're going to see how this kind of emerges as time goes on. All right, we'll get to that kind of in the middle chunk of the show. But first, let's go around with introductions and everything. By the way, every week I will be featuring a different New Zealand wine. This one is a Riesling called Two Sisters. It's a 2008. I'm actually drinking this in honor of Karen Hutton and Melissa. Melissa, are you back there?
She's not back here. I can go give her a holler if you want her.
Okay, maybe when she shows up, let her know. We'll have another drink to her. Okay. All right, but let's go around with introductions and this sort of stuff. Let's start with Ollie Dale.
Arr. Otherwise known as Captain Redbeard. Thanks to the cohort. Avast. I'm a general photographer, also a filmmaker, and running a cohort in the Arcanum, and loving every minute of it. And I'm based in Auckland of New Zealand.
And you've recently lost a bet, apparently.
Yeah, I kind of shamed my whole cohort last time I was on a hangout with Trey and mentioned that I was drinking hot chocolate. So to make up for, obviously, I've got to be a bit harder than that. So here's my rum, and here's my pirate outfit, and that's for you, Chris.
Well, I can tell you, I'm not really sure if you're succeeding in the hard. I don't know. I mean, if I saw you walk, I don't know if I'd skip to the other side based on the outfit here.
Is it the soft hat? Does it give it away?
No, it's the battery-powered flag, perhaps, but whatever.
Oh, let me know if it stops. I'll put some more batteries in.
All right. Next, Martin Bailey. Do you want to introduce yourself next?
Absolutely. Yeah, Martin Bailey. I'm, as you can tell from the accent, originally from England, based in Tokyo for the last 20 or so years. Running a cohort. We're concentrating on landscape, but sort of spread out a little bit to all sorts of nature and urban landscapes, things like that. Having a great time, and looking forward to the show today.
All right. Happy to have you, Martin. By the way, everyone that's watching this, if you watch it in the event page, I have this thing called Showcase going. And over on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see links to all the masters here, to their home pages and this sort of stuff, so you can find out more about these mysterious faces in case you don't know who they are. All right, let's jump over to Karen, because it looks like the second sister has arrived.
The second sister has arrived. You can tell we're sisters because we dress alike. So show Melissa the wine. Because she wasn't here when you introduced the wine. Now you're introducing us, who are in fact the two sisters.
Called Two Sisters. It's an award-winning wine. It's kind of a sweet Riesling, although I like it a little bit sweet sometimes in the afternoon.
So do we.
Yeah.
And we're award-winning sweet people. Yes. And this, if you don't know, this is Curtis Simmons' wife, one of my sisters, and she's been here for a few days. We have to get up at like 5:30. No, we have to leave at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, ungodly o'clock tomorrow to get her on a plane to go home. I don't know if I'm actually going to let her go home, but since she's about to move over there, I guess I should probably do that.
Yes, I'm excited to see you here soon in New Zealand, Melissa. Both you and Curtis. It'll be awesome. All right, hey, so Karen, give people your website and tell them about you and that sort of thing.
Yes, I'm a photographer, I'm a speaker, I'm a show host, I'm a gadabout town. You can find me at www.karenhutton.com. I am a master in the Arcanum. I'm very excited about that. I do lots of things around the world you probably will see soon. That's what I have to say, Trey.
Basically, Karen is a combination of Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah Winfrey. He's just amazing.
And a photographer. Okay. Neither one of those are photographers, and somehow in all of that, I'm a photographer as well.
Yes.
I'm an overachiever, and I go to Overachievers Anonymous. Yes.
She does it all. She does it all. Okay. And next we have Jessica.
Hi. So I guess I'm supposed to say I'm a master at the Arcanum. I'm a master at the Arcanum. And I'm an intimate boudoir photographer and an author. And you can find me at jessicalark.com, and you can also go to thereliquarian.com and keep up on my new art project. And I like puppies and Trey and pirates. And I want to be Karen Hutton when I grow up.
We're in the mix, Ollie. We're in the mix with puppies. All right, thanks, Jessica. Next, A.D. Wheeler.
Hey guys, I'm A.D. Wheeler, and I have a site called theexplorographer.com, and I write and shoot photos for there. And I am a master at the Arcanum, teaching some landscape photography and advanced HDR processing. So, really happy to be here tonight and awake.
That's right. And by the way, for those of you that saw that intro animation with the creation words, that was all made by AD. He's unbelievable at these little videos. I don't know how he does it. So congrats. What are you drinking there, AD?
This is a fine Finger Lakes wine right here in upstate New York, where I'm from. So it's grown locally. Good stuff.
Right on. Awesome. Now, this is the only show where I will introduce my co-host last, Gino Barassa. This might be a tradition. I will always introduce you last, even though you are my high-value co-host.
Oh, I don't mind. You don't even have to introduce me. That's fine. For reasons of deniability, it could be better for me that way. I was curious when you were talking to Karen, though. Is there really that big of a chasm between Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah? You said she was a combination. I mean, that's pretty close. That's pretty narrow, right there.
Well,
No.
I was just trying to make her sound double awesome.
I think that Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah probably say, I'm kind of like Karen Hutton and Vangel. You know, they throw that out there. Not you. You got it all backwards with Karen Hutton on that one.
Oh, Gino, you're racking up the points.
Well, I have to. I'm doing some crawling to try to get back in your good graces.
Gino, every show you will start out way below zero. And you will continue to go lower. The only thing you can do is like change the rate.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get into a little photography competition, so what's happened here, by the way, is every single master here, they represent a cohort. They have about 20 apprentices, and each one of these apprentices is leveling up at their own kind of rate, and they've chosen one particular apprentice and one particular work of art that they're going to bring in here to represent. And they're going to present the apprentice, talk about why this apprentice is interesting or awesome, show us the work. We're all going to kind of critique it. There will be a very complex voting system with all that controversy, and then we're going to come up with an ultimate winner. All right, so that's how it will work. But first, I kind of want to start with a little news item, and we can just kind of be loosey-goosey. Every week, we will not have a news item that is so self-serving as this one I am about to show you. But this one is actually, it's super interesting, and it's the kind of thing that I think every photographer thinks about or wonders what will happen when it happens and how would you handle it, okay? So let me share my screen here. I'll tell you a little story how to share my screen. This is always an awkward process, sharing your screen, isn't it? Okay, so this link is live to everyone on Patreon that came into that level. By the way, thank you guys all that are watching that. You guys are awesome. So yesterday, Tech Meme was all abuzz with this huge new Chromebook that came out by Toshiba, and everyone's reviewing how it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's super inexpensive, as you can see. So, but much to my amazement, they are using my image in all of their advertisements, and not just here, but it's on Amazon. It's everywhere. So you might think, wow, Trey, you must have gotten paid a lot for that. Well, do you know how much I got paid? I got paid $0. In fact, this is my first time I've ever noticed it, just yesterday. So you can imagine I was shocked and aghast at Toshiba. and it's clear that there is some funny business going on. So I'm going to go to my legal counsel here, Gino Barassa.
Yeah. Do you think that this sort of thing can even possibly just have happened completely accidentally? I mean, you're obviously a known photographer, so it'd be one thing if they took something from random person off the internet, but to take it from Trey Ratcliff, it seems almost like they have to know somebody's going to notice this.
Well, I assume they didn't know it was me, but I actually, as you guys all know, I'm a super nice guy. I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty zen. But good sound effect. Is that you on the soundboard?
I have no idea. I can neither confirm nor deny them.
These sounds, they just come out of the ether when I talk about my zenitude. But anyway, even though I'm pretty chill and stuff, my lawyers are not chill. They have big leather coats and they hang out and have big steak lunches, and yeah, they're very mean. So I guess we'll see what happens. What would you do, Ollie Dale?
Mate, I've had that happen to me before, although not on the same scale, obviously. And it's not a nice thing. I'd definitely tie them up, make them walk the plank.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest, but you already got there.
Yeah.
So, hey, real quick story, Trey, less than 30 seconds. I had the same thing happen to me, and I found out when I went down to the courthouse to pay my ticket, and they had this big poster up that they were using to explain when you went in to pay your ticket, go here, do this, see this person, go to the magistrate, and it was my picture behind it. It's like a little extra salt in the wound.
Did you ever get payment for that?
No, I called up the city, and honestly, I'm kind of a sucker. The lady that I talked to was so nice, and so I just said, you know what, forget it. That's fine. And you know how many times I should have gotten a ticket and didn't, so I feel like it's all good.
All right. Well, after that statement, Gino, I'm going to remove your retainer as my legal counsel because I don't feel that you're
That's not clearly. I don't have a leather jacket either, so.
I want to hear about the little man going up against City Hall, and man, that was a disappointment.
Yeah, no, it didn't work out.
You didn't trade him for the ticket or anything?
No, but I did get off the ticket. I won't even bother to go into that. That's a completely long-winded story. But hey, as long as you're doing, are we going to do tech news here, Trey? Things that are happening that are big in the internet world?
Of course, we can always throw those in anytime.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but Candy Crush Soda came out yesterday, and I know you guys are probably all on it. I'm on level 21 right now. Really trying to get the soda bottles lined up. I don't know.
That is some hot news there, Gino. Well played. By the way, for everyone watching, if you hang on to the end, everybody here has come with a little tech trick, something they'll just flash in a Lightroom, or I don't know what they're going to do. I don't want to steal their thunder, but we'll see. Anyway, hey, Martin, do you have any words of wisdom for me? Any sweet ambrosia you can drop down from your Mount Olympus?
Yeah, out of the blue. I don't know. Maybe pick someone else to join the show next time because I haven't got a clue.
I thought maybe like on Twitter you guys talked about this stuff all the time. And
so with regards to what? A tech something new?
No. I mean, about images being stolen or reused or this kind of thing. Yeah.
No, the thing with that is what a lot of people try to do is to just make sure that they've got their images marked up as either being copyrighted. I know that there's a lot of countries you have to have the copyright registered to be able to actually fight that stuff in a court of law. And in Australia, you don't. So I don't know how is it in New Zealand? Is it similar to Australia, where you basically don't have to register anything and you've got full rights right off the bat?
Well, I'm still a U.S. citizen, but I bet Ollie can answer this question. I'm still a U.S. citizen. I'm a New Zealand permanent resident. I'll become a citizen in about 2 more years and be one of those 2 passport kind of guys, which I can't wait for. Mm-hmm. But I do copyright everything. You know, I register it all with the USPTO. I'm very, very good about that. And this has happened to me, you know, a dozen times. Big things like the cover of Time magazine, little smaller things like you know, the Sydney Morning Herald. But I can tell you with ontological certainty, every single time it happens, it's just an open and shut case, and we always have great satisfaction. So I'm amazed. This is actually one of the bigger companies that's done something so inane. Anyway.
So does that mean it's Chromebooks all around for everyone registered in the Arcanum?
I think that's what it should mean.
Yeah. I was thinking something more magnanimous, like getting a bunch of Chromebooks and giving them to children. But if you want to use my financial loss for your personal gain, be my guest.
I'm a pirate.
All right. Well, do you guys want to jump right into the competition? And is there anyone that wants to go first? I'll tell you ahead of time, this is our first time ever doing this. We've not even had a dry run of this idea. This is only a construct in our minds. So we're going to see how this actually goes, although I would appreciate it if there was actually great gamesmanship. And because every one of these masters only has a certain number of votes that they can cast on other works. Of course, they can't vote on their own apprentices' work. So I want to see a little gamesmanship. I want to see people swaying votes. I want to see a little bit of Machiavellian subterfuge. I just want to see some cool stuff.
By the way,
Trey.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Filthy lucre. But just for the record, I am actually not affiliated with the Arcanum in any way. So I think Trey has brought me onto the show specifically for this purpose, to be a monkey wrench, a fly in the ointment, a provocateur, if you will, for this very purpose. So I have no affiliation with any of these people, and I'm willing to slash and burn if necessary.
Do you know, have I mentioned how handsome you look today?
That's not surprising to hear you say that, to be honest, but yes.
Okay. Well, does anyone, if no one wants to jump to the forefront, I was going to nominate K-Hut.
I knew you were going to do that.
You're always money.
You were going to do that.
Always good.
Trey, before we get started, can you go over all the official, rules?
Yes.
He would if there were any.
Yes, I need to look up the rules, but maybe I see Ollie over there holding up some silver talents. Yes.
Yes, that's what I brought.
5 silver talents, right? Which, by the way, is the unit of currency in The Name of the Wind, which is a prime fiction that we draw from quite liberally, and then we mash it around so that it doesn't appear to have any relevancy to the original work. But in this case, we give each of our masters 5 talents. They're all virtual talents, even though Ollie seems to have physical ones.
Actual talent.
Right. And this is the word talent as in like something inborn, like a talent for photography. It's another word which is a unit of currency. So don't let the homonym confuse you. But anyway, we each have 5 talents that we get to cast to individual apprentices or their works that we quite like, all right? And we will do a final count at the end. I will do the final count. We will announce a winner, okay? No one casts their talents, their silver talents, until we see all of the nominations. At that point, they will all send me their votes privately, and I will tabulate while there is some sort of background conversation happening. Okay. So
and they can cast them in any way possible, right? They can put 3 here, 2 there. They don't have to put all 5 in one bucket.
And I'll ask the obvious question that everyone else is afraid to ask, which is, where are the damn talents, and where do we cast them?
I will engage you in a private one-on-one chat session, Karen, as I will every other master. You will tell me who you are voting for, and I have which may or may not have appropriate calculations in various cells, but I will be the overall scorekeeper. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Anyway, don't worry about that. We'll talk about the voting in the end. Now we're just talking about the apprentices and the great work that they have produced under your tutelage.
Okay, and I have a question before that. Is that allowed? It doesn't matter. I'm going to ask anyway. Do you want us to give this? I have an amazing talent apprentice to share with you and some work. And I have many things I want to say about her. Are you going to interrupt me partway through? Do I have the floor until I'm done? Do we each get to give our little presentation? Or are we doing it in pieces and like preparing to be like tackled from the side by one of our competitors?
Yes.
Yes. This is a good question. I will attempt not to interrupt you during your prefatory material. You are such a good storyteller, Karen Hutton, that you may have a bit of leeway beyond a suggested 30 seconds. But if I find the story is droning on a bit too long or we get the point, I may pop in with something witty to somehow move the conversation forward, or perhaps Gino will jump in with a complete non sequitur, which will then remind us all that it's time to start sharing the work.
I find that so hard to believe that Gino would actually do that.
If you hear the harmonica playing, you know it's time to move on.
Either that or Stuart will just chop you out later.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, didn't you see the opening video for this whole show where Trey just like fast forwarded everything I said and got rid of it? That's what he'll do to you if you go on too long.
He went through this 19-minute description of this Mr. T thing he was putting on Kickstarter to raise money.
Yeah, Mr. T. It was a great idea. Nobody funded it, but whatever. Mr. T in a box.
Okay. K-Hut, in a box? Go.
In a box. No. Okay. Hey, so this is going to sound really retarded. I'm going to go ahead and do a little
This is a great way to begin the introduction of your apprentice. Go on.
Yes.
Oh, don't judge. Don't prejudge. The judging has not even begun. So just get off your high horse.
She's calling us to prejudge, and she's calling us retarded. All right.
Can you see? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Now here's my question. I can't remember how to get rid of these wings. How do you do that?
Shift
Click
tab.
on the side button to the left.
What?
Tab.
Tab,
Shift
tab,
tab.
tab. Thank you.
Shift tab.
All right, here's the photo that I'm sharing. This photo was done in cooperation in my cohort by Tanya Wallace and Lori Novak. Lori, we had a challenge. I think Martin Bailey is responsible for this. He suggested, I was on a long trip, he suggested doing a little like talent war, so to speak, where a challenge, or rather I call it the raw challenge, where somebody puts up a photo and then everybody does their take on it. So Lori did the building. Tanya did the squirrels. Now this has a deeper meaning because in our cohort we have a little bit of a tendency to get distracted with anything but what we're supposed to be doing. So it's a squirrel thing. Every time somebody yells squirrel, so this is the culmination of squirrel and our distractions. Here is, oh there we go, here is the original photo. And again, here is the creation. Tanya Wallace, this is Tanya Wallace, was born in her own eye. She has an eye for things. She was born out of it. What? What? You're trying to interrupt me? What do you want?
She has an eye for it. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Zip it, my friend. Lori Novak is the lovely Lori Novak who has a fantastic eye as well, who created the building. Tanya Wallace was a Siamese twin with her dog. Separated early, she picked up a camera, one-armed, and began her talent. Now, we're going to cut to the past. Why? Because her great-great-grandfather flew before the Wright brothers. This is a simulation of her great-great-uncle, Percy Pilcher. He is, in fact, the first man ever to fly a plane. Unluckily, he died on one of his attempts quite a few years before the Wright brothers came along. But he flew before the Wright brothers. He is her great-great-uncle. You understand. You see where this is going. Lori Novak and Tanya Wallace were musical geniuses. So naturally, and they faced the same direction when they played. Clearly, they were destined to work together on this photo. Tanya Wallace was a rock star. This is on one of her days off in between gigs. And this is Lori Novak on a break from her tour as a rocking guitar player in a country western band. She toured mostly in Southeast Asia, was a huge hit, and ended up in my cohort in the Arcanum. They're both incredibly talented.
She's a rocking guitarist in a country western band somewhere in Asia. Is that what you just said?
They toured in Southeast Asia. That was the main, they had a huge audience there. They made a bloody fortune. That's why she can, just, live on her own dime while she does the Arcanum and learns artistic things. Another thing about Tanya Wallace, who was in fact born out of her own eye, is that her grandmother came from the Brodie family. Now, I don't know if you know who the Brodie family is. Brodie Castle in Scotland was owned originally by Deacon Brodie, who was the Scottish locksmith turned robber at night, who was the inspiration for Robert Louis Stevenson's story, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is a true story. She is known, Tanya is, for photographing out of a moving car quite often. Her shots often work, and this is a shot of her doing said thing. This is her and I drinking in Las Vegas. I just thought I'd throw that in there because we have actually met in person. Tanya Wallace, I have something to read. Tanya Wallace recently did a Masters Challenge. This is her result. Now, I'm going to show you the squirrels in the end, but I want you to see this photo because her Masters Challenge was to do a self-portrait. Not just any self-portrait, but her self-portrait looking forward from here, encompassing all parts of her being and expressing where she's going next. And this is what she wrote. The ideas behind it are my newly found wings, my stepping up to another challenge that almost seems beyond reach, but now so much more achievable, and also the next step that I take is important, as Karen keeps telling me. You only need to take one step at a time to keep moving. She's recently graduating very soon from level 20. The dark colors of this image are not done to create a sense of foreboding or fear, but rather to show a warmth in my current mindset and a comfort knowing that although things may sometimes look bleak, there is a ray of sunshine, a ray of light shining on the path we are to take. My idea is to inspire hope and the ability of achieving your own dreams, even if you have to manufacture wings to help you achieve this. Thank you all for adding another stitch to my wings. I am not afraid anymore. So.
Yay!
And 30 seconds. 30 seconds. That was really nice. Nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was lovely. So I need a point of clarification. Which image are you submitting? Is it the squirrel one or the wing one? I would recommend the wing one, by the way, but I'm just an impartial party here.
I submit the wings.
Well done.
It just arrived. It literally just arrived today. The squirrels were the squirrels were the beginning of all this. We thought we were going to end on a humorous note, and right before the show, the wings arrived and transported us to another dimension, another level of what the Arcanum means to us and the evolution of our souls that has taken place. I rest my case.
That photo is just like you, Karen, because a wizardess never arrives too early or too late, but exactly when she's needed. Just like that photo. Well done.
Well said, Gandalf.
Thank you. So, now, will you pull up that image again? Because something else I'd like to do is, even though there's a bit of competition going on here, I would like the other masters to just give it a quick critique. And I'm talking not a long-winded one. We do actually long critiques inside the Arcanum. We have these one-on-one critiques, and they sometimes go on 20, 30 minutes, an hour, where all these photos are really, really considered. But maybe if we can keep it like 15 seconds per person, just your favorite things about it, maybe something that annoys you a little bit, that's fine to talk about too. But I would actually love to hear what all these other great photographers think about that. Why don't you start, Ollie Dale? You start describing this one for us.
All right, awesome. I love it. I think that for this to be a self-portrait, it's very expressive. There's lots of interpretation in it. You can sit there for ages reading into it, imagining what is off in the distance. Is it a mirror? Is it a doorway? It doesn't really matter. It's amazing. I love it. Well done. And it's a really strong image. So nicely slotted in at the last second.
Martin Bailey, you're next.
Yeah, I I think it's beautiful too. It's got, you know, so much going for it. I love the retro feel, the overlaid texture, from a person, a portrait, or even a landscape photo. It's got a lot going for it. Can't think of anything negative to say. I think it's beautiful, and the story that Karen relayed about it is just really helps to build on the visual.
I agree. This one's going to be hard to beat. Okay, J. Lark.
I really love this image. I think it's beautiful. It's definitely a work of art. I think if I was critiquing it, seeing it without the story, I'm not quite sure what's going on with the mirror/doorway with the little bird. It's a little conceptual, but I actually think that it would be a stronger image if that was out and it was just her stepping off this cliff, which I think is really prevalent, and I'm sure a lot of the other masters can relate with that too. Like, that's part of what we're doing with our apprentices, is getting them to step away from their fears and towards their potential, and I totally see that in this image. I think it's really well done.
Very well said. A.D. Wheeler.
Well, I liked this image when she sent it to me at 4 a.m. this morning, and I still like it. So Tanya and I have to have a talk about getting images at 4 o'clock in the morning here in New York, but she showed it to me last night, and I thought it was amazing, and I still do, and pretty much that's all I got. 15 seconds.
When you're all done, I have something to add to this.
Go ahead. Yes.
Shall I do it now?
Yes.
One of the things about the doorway, and I wasn't going to share it in the context of the story, but it fits to this whole discussion, is Tanya is someone who has battled depression in her life. It's been a real challenge for her. You wouldn't know it because she is overwhelmingly witty and funny and incredible with words and incredible with concepts, but it's been a real struggle for her. So thanks to our cohort and a lot of the work that we've all done together on every level, when she says, "I'm not afraid anymore," and puts this doorway, it has tremendous meaning, because it's her stepping through that doorway into another world. So, hence the door.
Very good.
Well, good story. You know, only thing that I had to say as far as a critique of it is I wasn't sure I would have used ostrich wings, but other than that, I have no problem with the picture.
In your vast experience doing composite work, Gino, you probably wouldn't use ostrich wings?
Right. No, I've had a lot of issues in the past when the clients specifically asked me to put ostrich wings on their back while they were heading towards openings, and it just hasn't really worked out. I think she did a pretty good job, though, all things considered.
Thank you, Gino, because your opinion is weighs a tremendous amount in this conversation.
There's a lot of value. I think when you play the show back, that's the thing that you're going to really heard strong.
You know, you are the thing we are always going to remember. So thank you for that.
Pretty sure that wasn't a
now you see the difference between a high quality critique and something that would be relatively low quality. So he's here to make the masters look even more awesome.
Yeah, thank you for the contrast. I know that was completely intentional on your part, Gino. So well played. Well played.
Hey, I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Tanya, these things that you say, I know they take a lot of bravery to say them and this sort of stuff, and it's awesome. And even when I hear, anybody, but when I hear you say these things, it kind of gives me faith, because I feel like I'm always taking steps and trying things that are super uncomfortable, and I feel like that's my whole life, and it's always super scary. So, I mean, to hear you say these things like that, it gives me a little bit of mojo. So thank you for that. It's very helpful. I think it's helpful to all of us.
I wept when I saw it. I was trying to get ready for this show, and I was sitting there bawling. So it was like, I texted her. I said, "Thanks for that."
It's like we're all part of this big support group with each other, isn't it? We just have this big pride fest all the time.
Yep.
Okay.
So, in all seriousness, one quick question: the little bird on the mirror. Was there any particular symbolism behind the bird, or that really caught my eye and kind of kept going back to it?
I don't know specifically, but for me, especially given the way the bird is pointing, it's like, let's fly, let's go, I'll show you how. And showing the way and showing flight.
Yeah, well, I hope she added that in intentionally, because I liked it. I thought it really
she doesn't do anything unintentionally.
Good.
I love it. I think the texture really makes that photo. It's fantastic. Okay, next. By the way, I'm doing stuff in chat over here rather than just waylaying people and say you go, which I'm sorry for that, Karen, but you did awesome. So I'm asking over here who wants to go next. AD.
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
I'm expecting support from all of the other masters having to follow Karen in her wonderful presentation. I don't have anything remotely close to that, so here we go. The gentleman that I'm nominating as my apprentice for this Creation Wars is Mr. Stephen Chromatis. Let me see if we can get this to share really quick. There he is, right there. You guys see that man right there?
Yeah,
I call him Superman. That is not his name. He did not pick that name. I labeled him with that just as I was doing this presentation tonight because I had this great idea for what has happened in Stephen's artistic career since he's joined the Arcanum. And so you can check those links right there and check out his Google Plus page and his Smug Mug page to kind of see what Stephen's all about. When he first came to us in his first critique, he told me that he was an accountant by day, but by night he was a landscape photographer. And he didn't say it with that much enthusiasm, actually. He just kind of said, I'm a landscape photographer. That's kind of how he put it. And, you know, we did a couple of critiques with him, and he showed me some cool images. These are some from his very first critique. These are not the ones that not the photo that I'm submitting for the big contest. Just kind of give you guys a little backstory on him. He kind of was just going for the straight up, you know, I'm a landscape photographer, so I'm going to all these locations, and I'm coming up with different compositions and things to photograph, and then doing my post-processing on them. And then we came to his level 8, level 9 critique, and he submitted this image, which was completely out of the ordinary, and it blew me away. And this is an alien in a park. It's a statue of an alien, and the minute I saw it, I got it. I was like, this is awesome. It's like this alien creature and everything, and this is such a departure. What are you doing? And he's like, well, this is kind of some of the stuff that I enjoy doing in the background. And I'm like, in the background? Why would you do this in the background? This is totally cool. And then I started to see his photo stream completely change. And then he started submitting photos like this. And just completely letting himself go. He's just delved into what he's felt with his photos instead of the way he thought, you know, everybody would like to see them. Now he's literally just expressing himself directly on his photos, and the change has been amazing. And this has happened over just a very short time in the Arcanum, and he's a prime example of a lot of the apprentices in my cohort are doing this as well. And it's just amazing for me to see this this blooming of art from these folks. So we come to the image that I'm submitting, and this is Detroit, I think. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. He lives in Windsor, Ontario, so he's right across the bay from Detroit, so he gets to take pictures of that city all the time. So, anyways, this is the photo right here that I am submitting to you, and I'd love to hear what you guys think of it. I think it's amazing. I love what he's done with the sky and this new style that he's come up with these really swept parts of the photos are kind of cool. So, something different. Steve Chromatis.
Thank you, AD. That was nice. I kind of like how you showed a bunch of different photos and how he made this switch from one style to another based on your feedback. That was very nice. Okay, we'll kind of do a little mini quick critique in the same order as last time. Ollie Dale, go first.
Yeehaw. Yeah, I love that sweeping kind of motion he's got through there in such a stark kind of foreground, and then a really interesting city to have all that motion going through it. Really, really different way of looking at a kind of a long exposure landscape kind of shot. But yeah, I like it. It's really awesome.
Very cool. Martin Bailey, you're next.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the movement in the sky is excellent. I love the coloring. I personally, I'm you know, the foreground blue feels a little bit toxic. I'm not overly you know, bought in on that one, but you know, I think the look is great, very artistic, and yeah, congratulations to both AD and his apprentice for bringing out the best. What I would definitely say is the best in someone.
Awesome, Karen. Karen, you're muted. Over. You're muted.
I know. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I was coughing earlier, so I thought it was best to mute myself. I love this. I love the colors. I love, you know, the interplay of the swirls and, you know, one end to the other, and how it just looked sort of unearthly and kind of sci-fi almost, but sci-fi is often kind of harsh. This is like a soft sunrise on another planet somewhere, and of course, you know how I love that stuff. So, yeah, I really love that, and I love how it just sort of fades one thing into the other, and then something emerges, and then it fades again. And I also really like, I was trying to decide when I first saw it, do I like it, do I not like it? But like over on the right of the city, you see how the buildings just kind of like, they're there, and then they just kind of go, bleh, and they fade away. I really like that, because it's like emerging. It emerges, and then it just goes away again. So it has a lot of movement that I really enjoy.
I like it too, Karen. I had a feeling you would say that. I thought you would like this one.
Yep.
As do I. Okay, Jessica Lark.
I love this one. And I'm always at a little bit of a loss when it comes to like landscapes and cityscapes, because it's definitely not my genre. So my general rule of thumb when I'm looking at them is if it makes me want to physically be there, and this one definitely does, in a way that it seems very surreal, and it's this very tranquil meshing between humanity and cityscape, and you know, this very serene water kind of feel. I love the color toning in it, and I love that it's very cool, but with these bright punches of warm orange and yellow through it. And I love that that's echoed through the lines of the building. I don't have too much negative critique for it. I think it gets a little heavy in the blue saturation. It's like this big punch of blue on the side that I would have liked to have seen that maybe dissipated just a little, but that's me really looking to pick it apart. It's a beautiful image.
Yes. By the way, I'm not really here to critique every image. I'll just run occasional comments. But I do agree with what Martin and Jessica said, that blue is the only bad part of the image. Everything else is pretty cool. It's just too saturated, and it just sucks your eye in. There's no break. It just kind of gets stuck in there. The other thing I would have done if I were him, I would have run out there and got rid of some of those sticks off the rocks. They cause a little bit of a little unnecessary chaos over there that fights against the image, I think. But otherwise, those are minor complaints. I think it's a really, really cool image. All right. Thank you, AD. All right, that was image number 2. Okay, so you guys, I'm trusting you masters kind of keep these in mind. But what we'll do during the voting is we'll have each of you share your screens with the image that you were representing. Okay, just to remind us, because I know if you're like me, you have a great memory. It just doesn't last very long. Okay, next up is Ollie Dale.
Excellent. Excellent. Let me share my screen. Okay, so I wanted you to meet my apprentice, Crystal. Crystal is, ironically, because of the photo, she was a late bloomer. Crystal joined very early on, but has a very busy life and hasn't really been able to sort of interact with the community too much. But the few interactions she's had have really made an impression on everybody. And just in the last couple of weeks, she started sort of coming in every now and then, dropping some bombshells, and it was amazing to have everyone in the cohort vote on images they wanted to come in today, and Crystal's image won. So I'll go through some of her first images that she introduced us to in level 1, just to sort of show you some of the work that she's done, and I like the way that she looks at the world. I think it's really cool. It's very different. There's a bit of sort of composition, there's a little bit of photoshopping, and then there's these real sort of nice sort of moments that she sees where she just sort of makes it real simple and yet really powerful. So I'm loving the way she sees the world, and I'm really hoping that we can get some more interaction out of her so we can get her up the levels and really get her blossoming as I pull up a flower. And of all of these images, one of them made a really big impact, and if anyone's seen the recent video I did with Ray, the this particular image here is one of hers of her cousin, and it's part of the project that's pretty well known, Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep. And it's a very powerful image, and it's just one of those moments that didn't last very long, but obviously she captured it really, really well. So on the back of that, I wanted to talk about this image here, which is the image that we're putting forward today. And I wanted to read to you part of her description, because this is kind of why I'm really happy that this one won, because it's got a really kind of cool story. She writes, "I do not choose to tell viewers my own story behind a piece. That's like reading the last page of a book first. I prefer to stand back anonymously and absorb different theories of what the story might be. In this piece, I cannot recall my exact inspiration, my specific dream. Rather, more generally, my goal in much of my recent work is to open another reality and a dreamscape." And she titled this one, "Temporary Setbacks, the Tree That Halted My Journey." I thought was awesome. So, you know, I've got a lot to say about it myself, but I want to hear what you masters think.
Very good, Ollie Dale. Okay, Martin Bailey.
Yeah, I thought I was muted. And again, you know, everyone seems to be putting forward some great work, and as expected. I love this. I can't quite see. I've got my screen a little bit too small here, but you know, is it a paper aeroplane up there? Or,
yeah.
Yeah. Now I mean that adds a lot. Very significant. And just very well done. The muted colours work really well as well. Yeah, nothing negative that I could possibly think of on this one.
Very good, Karen Hutton.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mark on this one. I love the color palette. It's the muted, and it's kind of like how dreams are sometimes. Even if you dream, you know, not all dreams are the same. So, you know, I dream in color, but sometimes they're a little muted like this, and you know you're kind of in a surreal, different kind of world. And I love the symbolism of, you know, I was flying along just fine, me and my airplane, and suddenly I was tangled in a tree. I love that. It's just like, how did she get there, and where's she going? I don't know what that thing is on the ground. I might like to see a little more space below that. You know, it seems like it's a little close to the bottom, but hey, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, what is that?
That's her other shoe.
Oh, it is. Oh, I love that. That's very cool. Anyway, yeah, love the image. I really do. I just really admire people that can do things like that. Don't you, Trey? That can just come up with these concepts and put them together.
I don't have a mind for that kind of stuff. I see a lot of this
either.
stuff, like especially a lot of stuff that Robin Griggs Woods does, and these sorts of things. I'm like, where my mind doesn't work like it's the same as a studio. I always thought like, oh, wouldn't it be cool like to have a photography studio instead of all kinds of crazy stuff happening all over the place. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to put things. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I don't know how their mind works, but I really respect it.
I do too. So that's how I feel about this.
Right on. Okay, J. Lark.
I'm a big fan when you start to see artists really tap into a little bit of their darker natures. I think by definition, artists are tortured souls. That's where a lot of our inspiration comes from, and I definitely see this coming through. That being said, I feel like the image is more powerful when you have someone to tell you the story and then show it, and photography is about having the story stand without needing anything else. It's supposed to be worth 1,000 words. But I'm also going to contradict that and say that I like that this one allows you as the viewer to tell the story to yourself. I think she looks a little bit too composited in. It doesn't quite look natural. I would have liked to have seen her really kind of fall and have a little bit more dangling in the limbs, specifically in the legs, and I didn't know that it was a shoe either, so I love that element of it, but I think it would have been stronger if she dropped that leg down so that you could see that her foot was bare, because it kind of blends in a little. But overall, I think it's a really strong kind of character piece that I would definitely be proud to put in my portfolio, so bravo.
Thank you, Jessica. Okay, AD.
Well, this is right in my wheelhouse. This is kind of the stuff that I do in my studio, and I love it. I love the dark nature of it and the storytelling, and I have to agree with Jessica on this that one of the things that I'm working on in my cohort is telling my apprentices how to express a story through their photo, but without words. And I think that she hit it right on the head. Said that this does it itself. It expresses a story. You don't need to know the exact story, although that's awesome that Ollie shared that with us. It does create that vision in your mind and gives you kind of a little storied background. So excellent job. I like it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. Who is now? I wasn't actually watching chat.
I have a quick thought on it, and that I like that she didn't show her face, because it allows the viewer, if you're a woman, to put yourself in the picture, as opposed to if her face had been turned, it kind of takes away the dreamy quality of it all. And only thing that I would say, I actually love this image quite a bit. The only thing that kind of caught my eye right off the bat was the really strong vignette on the side. I think if it had been kind of faded in a little more, it wouldn't have distracted me so much. But overall, I like the vignette. I just wish it hadn't been so stark just around the edges.
All right, very good. By the way, nobody has said any of our secret taboo words, which will strike an instant critique from the crowd. I think someone has said some taboo words by accident, but we gotta jump on them right away when they say one of these 5 words. Only we know what they are. They were in the pre-show. Okay, but next up is Martin Bailey.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just share my screen. Let me know. You see that?
We see, yes.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the Meermannator. It's Christian Meermann, or Meermann, and I keep calling him Meer because it's double E. Christian is one of my apprentices in the cohort, and he's a teacher at a comprehensive school. Lives in a town called Gladbeck in Germany. And he's apparently, I would have loved a teacher like Christian when I was at school. Apparently, when he hands out tests, he whistles the Emperor's theme from Star Wars. So it's kind of one of those things that I can just imagine. I can just imagine, having a lot of fun in the classroom. He thinks a lot. I think sometimes he thinks a little bit too much. He doesn't consider himself an artist, and yet I'm going to just go through a few images here. He actually takes some raw material and makes some incredibly beautiful work out of it. And this is just an example of one of his cityscapes. But he also he's not we concentrate on landscape in our cohort. But Christian goes to the zoo a lot. And he comes back and creates incredible artwork out of photos that you wouldn't believe were shot in a zoo. And I'm just going to go through a few here. This one he called Primal Scream, and he allowed me to retitle it as Primal Yawn. But it's just beautiful the way these things. He makes the background go totally black and brings out incredible texture, and he's very patient. At zoos, especially here in Tokyo, you don't get a lot of time to stand at the glass or at the fence and really do this. But he has probably a lot of patience and a great eye, because he finds these incredible expressions. And this is the one that I'm going to be putting in. This is the one that I'd like to vote on. I just find that he just gets the moment and brings out the best in an animal that is. This lion here looks proud and deep in thought in some ways, and yet he's caged. He's in a zoo, and obviously zoos have. People can be controversial. Some people don't like zoos because the animals are caged. Some people support zoos because they actually they do help conservation if the zoo is is responsible. I've got nothing against shooting at zoos at all. I do it myself, but I think that Christian takes it to another level. He goes to a zoo and comes away with the foundations of some incredible artwork. And so, although it's not landscape, which our cohort is concentrating on, I wanted to show you this today because I simply love his work.
I'm glad you stopped on that one. It is when you got there, I thought, oh, please let this be the photo. It is amazing. I've never seen a lion photo like that. Wow.
Me neither.
They took it in a zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That is incredible.
Okay, Ollie Dale, you are bearded like this lion. You are simpatico.
Reminds me of me in the morning, this guy. Hey, I mean, I have to just echo what all the other masters have just said. The thing that strikes me the most is the thing that kind of jumped out at me when I first saw it, and that was the negative space balancing the bright side of his face. And I thought, oh no, chop it off, make it all about him. And then I thought, hold on, if I do that, it becomes imbalanced. So full credit for the crop, given the vision you've seen to leave that blank space there just to balance that face. I think it's awesome. If there was one thing I would spend another couple of hours on working on, it would be the fading from the bright mane on the right hand side into the black, because the one on the left just sort of gradually disappears and looks amazing. Maybe just a little bit of work on sort of trying to make that not so looking like it's been done in Photoshop. But other than that, I mean, really, I'm just clutching at straws as to a balance. I think this is a beautiful shot.
Thanks.
Very good. K-Hut.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful shot. Also, I concur a little bit about around the edges, lower right and on the left, just the way the colors or the tones get a little bit crushed in there, which again, picking, it's just like, yeah, I got to find something bad to say, but that would be something, because this expression is incredible, and the rest of the detail, it's like I can't stop staring at this. It really has an emotional impact. That's the thing about, photographs. Do they have to be perfect, or do they have to rivet you? I forgive almost everything. I can pick it apart a little bit, but I forgive almost everything because of what he's done here. And to me, that's the power of an incredible photograph.
Very good. Jessica Lark.
I think that portrait photography is about connecting on a deeper level than what you see, and I don't think that makes a difference whether it's a person or an animal. And there is so much soul in this image, and you can't look at it and not feel something. I can't even, and I think it's across the board, like, we can't even keep poker faces. Like, this is a really outstanding, stellar image. I don't want to be redundant and echo the other masters, but I do agree that it gets just a little bit hot on the one side of the face, and I feel like you would either have to tone that down a little or actually go just a little bit darker and almost split light him. But we're trying to find something wrong with it, and like Karen said, like, you can forgive it for the spirit that it's just exuding, and that kind of strength and courage, but there's also something kind of desolate about him, that he looks like a very proud but still caged lion, and you can feel that from him. I think it's really powerful. Bravo. This is one of my favorite images that I've seen from any of the Apprentices in the Arcanum, period.
That's great. I think it's always so interesting to hear women critique photos, because they can always just sense these emotional levels that don't even occur to me, and I feel like I'm sort of in touch with these things, but maybe not. I never even got the caged, proud element, but I see it. Okay, A.D. Wheeler.
I think I have to agree with everybody else here. Not just because I'm going last, but I mean, as a portrait photographer, the thing is that the soul, you want to capture that in the eyes, and it's definitely present in this photo. And I can't, just like everybody else, I mean, you could just leave this photo up for the rest of the evening, because I can continue to stare at it. Absolutely amazing, and definitely gets a 3 if I'm critiquing it. So, awesome.
This is very good. I don't know if that was gamesmanship or not. That one looks like a very strong contender, though. Very strong contender. Okay. And last up is Jessica Lark. All right.
Okay. So I had a really interesting time because I actually run 2 cohorts, so I had twice as many apprentices to kind of choose from. Pull up the screen share.
That may disqualify you. You've got double the number of options to choose from.
I know, and it was like both a blessing.
Uh-oh, she might be frozen there. Oh, no.
Instant karma.
Oh, no.
We'll save the day in post-production.
Community to converge. So, can you see? Can you hear me? Did you lose
We can,
me?
but you're really choppy, and your screen is frozen. Ah, now you're sharing. Okay.
Okay. Are we good now? All caught up?
Yes.
So this is, we actually just made a thing, and I had everybody go in because I could not pick from all of these amazing submissions which one I wanted to bring. So I made the apprentices do it for me because I like making them work. So it really came down to this one from Martin, and the one that we finally chose was this one from Gretchen Chappelle called the, let me say, Gretchen has this, she's this amazing artist, and she not only is a really accomplished photographer, but she's also an incredible singer and musician. So I love her because she's an artist at heart. Like, she actually has on her professional website a series of self-portraits that are all cell phone photos. And they're beautiful and they're breathtaking and they exude an emotional connection with her. And I love that she transcends the, you know, the theory that you have to have the right equipment or the right circumstances or anything. She just doesn't let anything stop her from creating, and I think that's really, really powerful. So the image that she chose is called The Impossible Magnitude of Impermanence. And she brought this to critique, and it just blew me away. I love the scale of it with the children on this massive, expansive ocean and this huge island rock, and just how small and minuscule and impermanent and insignificant we are when we're placed in the middle of this giant universe. And I love the sense of wonder in it and her color scheme. So this was pretty much unanimous in the cohort too, that was the best image to represent for House Lark.
All right. I love it. That's a great shot. It's really, really smart, isn't it? Man. It's lovely. Okay, and let's go around the horn, starting with you, Ollie Dale.
Check out the pastel colors of this. This is just beautiful. And not only the teeny tiny people versus the huge rock, but just the delicate nature of the water in between them. And just in between the people and the rock, just how that sunlight is just catching the top of that wave. It's just, I mean, you could sit on a beach for hours waiting for this particular moment. And whether she has or not, it's just, it takes you right to that place. I think you mentioned that before, Jess. If an image like this takes you there, it's amazing. And man, it's just breathtaking, you know, like simple, and I love simple, but also majestic. So yeah, amazing shot.
Very good. Okay, Martin, you are next.
Yeah, I what he said, you know, Ollie's just summed up a lot of what I would like to say. I mean, the thing is that, just like Jessica said as well, the scale hits you immediately. You have to do a double take to you know, are those? It's almost like someone's put some GI Joes down there or something instead of people. You know, the scale is incredible. The palette is beautiful. The light, the moment, the exposure. Yeah, it's. I almost see. I'm not sure if there was a bit of a texture overlay in the sky. If there was, that was pretty masterful. If there wasn't, then there is a little bit of blotchiness up there that could well be coming from the hangout rather than the original photo. But yeah, beautiful shot. I'd be proud to have something like this in my portfolio.
Awesome. K-Hut.
Yeah, I'm, what everybody else said. I like the colors and the tones. They're not, it's like it's warm and everything, but there are tones and colors of green and blue that you don't see all the time, in combination, and I like that. And I also really like the choice of leaving some of the sand, granted it's got some motion blur on it and stuff, but leaving the sand because it really adds to this sense of depth and of a journey of going from one state, approaching another, facing another and another, and it is impermanent, and it just shows it on so many more levels. It could just as easily have been cropped right up to the water, and the fact that she left that sand was really great, and ditto what everybody else said. And I love the girl's hair and her arm out. It just looks like she's being really, it's just more emotional that way. It looks like she's bracing herself and just taking it in, and you see the wind, and there's just, again, so much motion, even in this static moment, which I think is incredibly powerful.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. And A.D. Wheeler.
So I watched Jessica do the critique of this photo live when it happened, and the image struck me then close home. The first time that I visited out west, I'm from New York, and that sense of wonder of how small you are in such a large. Everything's big out west, and you have a sense of being very small, and then also realizing that even though we're all very small in this very big world, even one of us can make a difference, and this photo really sums all of that up for me in one shot. So it hits pretty close to home. I love the toning and everything else that has been done to the photo, but just the moment and the rock and the fact that she compressed the shot and shot it at long distance was just perfect. So I love it.
All right, awesome. Thanks, AD. Okay, now we're going to go into a voting session. All right, each of you should have a little chat window for me in your Gmail. But this is how we'll attempt to do it. So if you take your photo and put it in its own window, and you share just that screen, and people in the Hangout can freely click amongst the various photos and choose which one their votes will go to. Just send those to me, and I will tabulate. All right? Does that make sense to everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Just one comment from something that Tanya's saying in one of the chats is that the way that the Hangout is set up, they couldn't actually see the people in that last image because the people were behind the videos of all of us. So
that's strange.
We may need to get.
I can't do anything about that, but maybe in the final, video on YouTube, it'll look all right.
Yeah,
into that.
Might get Stuart to post the image in place of the
Actually, if they resize, I notice as I resize my screen, it changes. Like if I make it narrower, you can actually see the whole screen up there. It's probably a factor of their window dimensions. If that makes sense. Sports fans.
Very good.
Hey, so anyway, while that's going on, while they're voting there, Gino, let's talk about the greatness of Patreon and say thank you to all our great patrons.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I'm a big fan of Gretchen Chappell's. Not that that will sway anyone's vote because no one cares, but she is a great follow, and she's always putting up really. We talked earlier about the tree that halted my journey, and how people that can come up with those kind of composite images out of their mind. It's always impressive. You and Karen both said that. I'm the same way. I can never come up with those kind of fanciful ideas like that, like Miss Daniela can do. And Gretchen's got some images like that that have really, like, I wish I owned a copy of it so I could hang it in here. She's a really great follow.
Cool. Hey, by the way, Martin, you're sharing the wrong screen. You're seeing all your personal dirt. You're seeing all these chats you have going on with all these Vietnamese women. Right,
you can see my voting. That's what you can see.
They might have been Russian. I don't know. It's hard to tell. There were a lot of weird characters in the name.
Can I just say, while the masters are voting, there's some pretty amazing photos here to give you a 3 talents too. The one of the girl hanging in the tree, if you do have 2 talents left over, feel free to fire them my way. That'd be great.
So by the way, we have a certain sub-segment of the population right now watching this live. One group is people from Patreon. Thank you very much. People that put in $1 per show. They get to watch it live, and they'll also get to see the show a week ahead of time. And then there's higher levels above that. But you can actually be a patron for as little as a penny. So as long as you just have a penny, you get to watch it. We'll still release the whole show for free. You'll see it a week later if you become like a patron at a certain level. But the other group that gets to see the whole thing for free is everybody in the Arcanum. And not everyone knows this, Gino, but this is actually about 500 people that are signed. Yeah. Yeah,
I think that's pretty impressive because how long ago was it that the Patreon, that the Arcanum, you and all of your masters actually started taking in apprentices? It was less than a year ago, right?
Yeah, not that long ago. And we're on the right path. And actually, we're sort of in a state now where, so we tested and it went very slow because we wanted to see what the experience was like. We made some mistakes, quite honestly, but we're really figuring this stuff out now, and it's we're rolling. And so we have a good problem in that we're completely overloaded with applications, which is fantastic. So we actually have applications from over 110 countries around the world. So now what we're wanting to do is starting to add masters into the fold. We have this really cool fast track program that Ron Clifford is doing. So we're going to start kind of aggressively adding masters to the mix to find all these wayward souls in the orphanage.
So, Trey.
Kind of getting back to Patreon, you could become a patron of Patreon of the show, this particular show. And we already have 58. We have 58 patrons so far of Creation Wars, which I think is pretty amazing, considering we haven't even done a show yet. That's a lot of faith right there. I mean, how many people actually had an extra penny that they could just throw at us, like as if it was a penny? But yet we do. We are up to 58 people that had extra pennies, and I think that's pretty impressive too.
So Trey, can you hear me?
Yes.
So, if we're going to do this like The Voice, we should all be making like a final comment about our submission. Some of us went early, and there should be a little summary of the submissions.
All right, I will allow this last second anomaly to take place. Each of you has 15 seconds. We will go in reverse order from the original outlay of works. Meaning
and not a Karen Hutton 15 seconds either, right? An actual 15 seconds.
Oh, shut up, Gino.
Extra point for Karen right there.
You could wear it anywhere. Okay. I'll start reverse order. I'll see if I can remember. Jessica, you go first. 15 seconds.
So Gretchen should obviously win her set of pipes and the most talents because I think she just encompassed everything. The color, the composition, the emotional magnitude of it. I think photography is about reminding us of our humanity and our smallness in the grandeur of the world, and this definitely accomplishes that.
Very good.
Look for me.
Who went fourth? Is that AD?
Martin.
Martin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Mermanator, he deserves your talents. Like I say, this guy is such an artist, and although he says he's not, he has touched me with his black and white wildlife and all of his work, as have the rest of my cohort. So just throw those talents this way because this guy deserves it.
Okay, and in the middle was who?
Ollie,
go.
Ollie. Yeah, I agree exactly with what you say, Martin. Our apprentices are all touching us with their amazing works, and this one here, coming from someone who hasn't really participated all that much in our cohort, I'm just so proud to be able to put this up for the first show. the inaugural Trey Ratcliff Creation Wars. So, like I said, guys, if you think something else is better, that's great. But with your 2 extra ones, fire them my way.
All right.
Very good. Okay, now it's AD.
Thanks, Ollie. But I know you have a pocket full of talents over there. So, you know, and us poor folks here in upstate New York, we need your vote big time. So, and I just have to put it out there that I brought the only photo that was a true landscape without people in it. So, just saying, you know, all you folks that are voting for that lion, because I know you are, you know, just you can take one of those talents and throw it over my way. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Now, Trey, what happens if there is a tie?
If there's a tie, then it's my turn. I only have 1 talent, and it's not photography. It's just talent that I will spread to. I'm a tiebreaker. Okay. My whole role in this thing is I'm the Dumbledore with emphasis on the first syllable. All right, you guys. I have to add this stuff up. All right, so you guys need to chat amongst yourselves.
Karen, you got to sell your photo, man.
Well, I
Karen,
think you're all adorable because you're struggling for second, and you know, more power to you. The truth of the matter is, Tanya Wallace is the only winner here because she encompasses what the Arcanum is about. The Arcanum is about transcending where you thought you could go, transcending who you thought you were, and evolving and transitioning into a whole new realm. Our cohort started as a landscape cohort. However, I chose people who are artists on many levels and have many interests and could encompass more than just landscape photography or photography, period. And I opened it up to evolve and develop however they wanted to have it happen, because what they wanted to learn was how to express, to bring to their work their expression. What Tanya Wallace has done, her directive was, you know, include all of you, include the depression, include where you're going next, include the entire journey in this self-portrait. She basically managed to encompass not only what our cohort was about, what she is about, but what the Arcanum is about in one photo, in one moment, brilliantly.
Yeah, but then she used ostrich feathers, and we know how Gino feels about that.
They're not actually ostrich. I will tell you what they are later, but they are not ostrich feathers. I will tell you that.
I just have to jump in and say that it's because of Karen's eloquence and her voice that she slows time in 15 seconds. It's just amazing. It compresses. I know that Gino could tell you more about that.
I have to say,
Karen, really sucking up for those talents, man.
Karen, what has happened to you since the last time we did a live show together? I have never heard you talk junk in your life, and you just did. That was amazing. That was amazing. You used to be the nicest person on the planet. What happened?
Gino, do you know how many hangouts we've done together? Nobody talks junk like you do, honey.
I think there might have been a negative influence on you.
You think?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Okay, by the way, you guys can unscreen share your screens now, so we can see your faces while you go a little tete-a-tete. I'm having great difficulty doing the computation because many people are giving me their numbers in different formats, and it's probably my fault. By the way, Jessica, you should use the plural. It's getting very confusing, but it's okay. I am compensating. Keep talking. Tabulation is about 40% done.
Wow.
The votes are almost.
You guys only submitted numbers that went up to 5, right? And there's only 5 of you.
Well, so. You know those abacus. You know how abacuses are these days. They're tough. They're tough to manipulate.
Adding 1s and 2s, I think. But
you're talking like it's a U.S. election, Trey. I mean, come on, man. There's 5
right?
judges.
Oh my
God.
It's really hard.
If it was in Chicago, you don't even have to add the votes. They add themselves.
Those votes only come in 1s and 2s too. So.
That's right. The impossible magnitude of impermanence. I think we have a winner for just titles, at least.
Right?
That was a great title.
Gretchen has some of the best titles ever. I'm going to send her my work and have her title all my stuff. But can I tell you, like, because she's from Miss Aniela's cohort, who unfortunately had to step down partway through, and I just stepped in as a permanent substitute. It was really, really intimidating to go in there because there is so much ridiculous talent in there that I was like, hi, I'm here to teach you, but I just want to look at your work because it's so good. Like,
Isn't
I
that
would
wild?
do that when I grow up. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I
know what you mean.
learn way more than I feel that I teach, but they haven't caught on yet, so we're good.
No, I know what you mean. I think the value of it is holding space for them so that they can excel. Because I had a lot of time thinking about this as I was watching my cohort get better and better, and I was like, oh my God, they're like some of them better than me. But you know what we do is we hold space for them to be all that they can be. It isn't about who's better. It's about creating a world and a space where they have the support and they have the and it's safe. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a safe place to really relax and unfold and just bring it, without having to worry about getting cut off at the knees or anything along the way. And that's that's what you do so brilliantly.
It really is about who's better in the end in your cohort, right? I mean, the humiliation, the drubbings. I mean, that's at the core of your cohort. Wouldn't you say that's true?
I mean, in mine, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jessica, I have to ask, if we open that door behind you, I feel like a talking wolf and like a wizard is going to come out. What's the deal with that door?
Dude, isn't it cool? This took me about 3 months to make, and there's all kinds of interesting little things. Like, this is one of the first wedding albums that I ever made, a little miniature one, and like up here is my grandmother's wedding portrait, and down here is one of my husband's buttons from his military uniform. It's for the Reliquarium project that we were doing. So, like, all of this stuff are like little antiques and little treasures that I tend to keep in boxes because I hoard things. Squirrel, yeah. So, so
I am the wardrobe at Jessica's door.
Yeah, this was the first prop for the shoot. Now I'm constructing this giant 7-foot piece of fruit that I'm going to put people on. But I wasn't paying attention, so when I started building it out, now it's too big and I can't fit it through my door, so I can't actually get it out of my studio.
Wow.
The
giant 7-foot fruit also plays center for the.
So, Jess, you said a taboo word. I'm sorry, honey.
What? What did he say?
I told you 7 was going to come up, man.
Oh,
7!
Oh, no, 7!
Okay, emergency taboo session. What this means is that we will pull a random photo from one of our patrons, and everyone will do a quick critique on it, which is good because, believe it or not, I'm still tabulating the results. You should see the form, and everyone cannot have sent. Some people put X's, some people put space, some people didn't put on the names, just the number. It's very confusing. But I want to get it right, so that's. In the meantime, let's critique a photo, okay? Okay, I'll kind of go with whatever the group says here. Let me share my screen. Okay.
Start with AD, because he's been last out of all of these, and so it's hard to go last all the time. You go first, AD.
By the way, here's a cool thing about Patreon is that when I share an image, or people are sharing their images, all that kind of stuff, I can say whatever, or I can link to the pre-show or the post-show. And when I share it, I can share it to just one particular group of patrons and above, which is kind of cool. Okay, anyway, let's look at. There's a lot of really pretty images. Look at that one. Isn't that one pretty? Let's do this one. And Karen, you know what? When I saw this photo, I thought of you.
Aww.
That's
nice.
Because he's done something here that you sometimes do with your images that I wish came more into the forefront of my mind. But anyway, why don't you start with a critique on this one?
What is it he does that made you say that?
Well, what he does is, it's obviously a sunset, but what he does is he goes to black so quickly. And you know that when the sun's out, it's actually not black up in the top corners of the photo. It's still bright up there. But yet, when you look at this photo, it actually feels kind of believable. Like the extreme black, usually if you go to a vignette that quickly, it looks ridiculous. But every now and then, the conditions are right where the super dark vignette is just awesome.
Huh?
Yeah, and I think I saw you do that in Portland somewhere, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm blank, but cool.
Okay.
I like it. Thank you. I'll take it. Yeah, I love this. I think it's beautiful. I think it does go to, it could. Sometimes it's hard when a photo is borderline like this in terms of I can't see it exactly the way it looks because it's coming through the Hangout and everything. So it looks like the blacks might be actually crushed a little bit. Might open up the shadows some up in the upper left of the sky and a little bit in the innermost rocks that are more toward the center of the photo, and then let it fade to black on the outside a little bit more. That's being pretty picky because it really is beautiful. I love the tones. I love how warm the air feels, and I like the long exposure on the water. You got your foreground, you got your background. Yeah, I just would probably back off the blacks a little bit in certain places and let it have a little bit more air to breathe.
Very good. Martin, you go next.
Yeah, I'm really not too concerned about the blacks. I think it looks natural. I don't try to overthink the what it really would have been like if I was there. So for me, I think it's been very well done. I actually really just like very dramatic like this. Overall the cloud formation's beautiful. Everything about this. Love the exposure, long exposure, and I feel as though I'm there standing next to the artist. So, great work.
Lovely. Okay, Ollie.
I opened up the image on the page itself just because I wanted to see it a bit closer, and it's worth it because the amount of detail in that foreground and just under the water surface with the sort of kelp or seaweed or whatever it is, and the rocks and things, I think it's great. I kind of feel also that it's a bit dark, but I think that's this particular artist's way of communicating this particular shot, and the darkness in those rocks means that you're not being distracted by that. You're being led through the middle of the image and out towards the setting sun. So yeah, I like it. It's a little bit heavy-handed, but I think the communication's really cool.
AD.
Well, I think the reason why that the quick vignette works in this is because of the natural border of the rocks around the subject and the sun. I think that works really well. I probably would have liked to have seen a little longer exposure, more movement in the clouds maybe. It seems like they're starting to move, but it's not quite as drawn out as I've seen some photos really when you start to breach the surreal kind of otherworldly feel. Overall, though, I think that if they were going for that darker look and stuff, it's definitely a hit. I'm looking at it as well on the page, and it looks really nice. It's a little
I am
different.
now too. It looks quite different on the page than it does
Yep.
in the Hangout. Yep.
Yep.
You're right. I'm going to have to amend what I said now that I see it over here.
Jessica, go for it.
I love this image. I think did we look at this one when we were doing the critique?
Yes.
We
Critique
did.
day?
This is one of the Facebook images. Yeah.
I loved this one then. I still love it now. Trey, it actually reminds me a little bit of one of yours. You had this one from China called Dragons Coming or Dragons Rising. I don't know, but it gives me the same kind of feel. It's just this very fiery heat to it, but it's really soothing and tranquil too, and I find that really appealing, and I want to go swimming.
Yeah.
But I like the natural kind of vignette of the shadows around it and the way that the rocks they just draw you right into the sunset, and I think that that's really potent and powerful visually.
Very cool. Let me unscreen share. Okay, let's jump. You guys will not believe this, but I am still tabulating the votes. It's very difficult. I can't decide if I should show everyone who voted on what. I kind of want to keep that secret. I'll share it with you guys afterwards, so you know nothing untoward is happening.
Yeah, that's a post-show reveal.
Do you want us to do it again in a different format, like an agreed upon?
No, it's okay. But while I am on my third tabulation, actually I've done it twice. I've gotten 2 different answers, which is not good. I'll do it a third time. Hopefully I'll get one of the same. If I get another different answer, I'm going to have to call in for some help. Now, but while I go through my third tabulation, why don't you guys go ahead and go through your little tech tricks, okay? About maybe 30 seconds each, maybe a minute. Okay. Ollie, you want to start?
Yeah, I'm happy to go. I don't know if I can find the email now that you've sprung it on me like that, but Stuart can save me later on when we fix that up. I got an email today. I subscribed to a blog called Planet 5D, and I got an email today talking about a possible rumor of the Canon 5D Mark IV. And the interesting chat around that was that, do we really care, because other camera companies seem to be coming out with better cameras in that particular price bracket. But I thought that was pretty interesting. They're talking of a potential announcement of February next year, 2015. And if not, it'll be something else like a Canon 1D Mark 16 or whatever they're up to. So I don't know if any of you guys shoot Canon or really care. Obviously the Mark II made a big difference to my life because I'm shooting a lot of video now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Would you guys look at the Mark IV? Are you happy with the Mark III? What would it have to be? Would it have to be 4K for it to be interesting? I don't know. You know, so interesting kind of things happening from Canon.
So do we do
not that interesting. I think people should just get a Sony. Yeah, just another thing.
Sony. Well, Sony are pushing the limits. They're actually changing stuff. I mean, Canon, as much as I love my Canon gear, Canon and Nikon have been sitting still for the last few years while all of the other companies are racing up the hill. So I hope that if it's true, it's at least going to introduce something a little bit more radical than what's been happening over the very small incremental upgrades we've been having recently.
On the Sony rumor mill, by the way, coming in January or February is this rumor floating around of a 50 megapixel 8K camera from them.
It's not all about size, AD.
If you don't have enough megapixels now, you will with 50.
Dang.
That was the word camera. I'm sure that was one of the words for today.
No,
we didn't go with it.
Oh, camera.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
We didn't go with that. No, we did not.
I got the
There was
list ready.
another word, though.
Yeah, I mean, other than people who are obviously, blowing their images up into huge sizes, I mean, what kind of a market for consumers is there for a 50 megapixel camera? I mean, that's like a 1,000 horsepower car. It sounds great, but who's really going to use it? Not that many people.
No, the thing is that what you just said there, is that if you want to print really big, then you've got the options are blowing up what you have, and you can do a lot with that, or just trying to get more out of a native file, and the prints look pretty incredible when you get like the D800 prints are beautiful when you go really big. So, and also some people like to crop. I mean, I personally try not to, but when you've got that much information, you can crop a little bit more if you want to. And I'm always thinking that I don't want more resolution at the expense of image quality or low ISO performance. But if the ISO performance is reasonable and the image, the lenses can handle it, then I'll take as much as they throw at me.
By the way, everyone, talking about cameras, I have something to share with you. I put this into the level 20 lounge, which is a secret place most people may not know exists. We're actually just about to open up Sphere 2, which is levels 21 to 30, now that people are hitting level 20. These are called the focus spheres, and kind of it's like where real challenges and awesomeness begins. Wait till you see what's happening. But anyway, so I pasted this in there. This is a new 21 megapixel camera. All right. It does this amazing new HDR technique. It does 4K video recording, 192-point phase detection, and it costs $18. And it's the kind of thing that fits inside of a cell phone. So it's like, you know, no one really buys it except for cell phone manufacturers. But it makes you think. It makes you really wonder about the future of photography if you're... I think it actually, honestly, won't be that long before we're not just using cell phones, but we're kind of like just painting a scene, like just kind of waving your cell phone around a scene, and it's just collecting all this light, and you're just kind of building this giant raw file. You know, I know I'm all about mirrorless or whatever, but it's not inconceivable where you just have a tiny little sensor, you're just kind of holding it up and just grabbing some of the light, and you can do what you want to with it afterwards. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening on this super tiny sensor area.
That's a great point you just made, actually, with that gesture. Can you imagine if you had a cell phone that could shoot fast enough that you could just wave it around at whatever your subject was, and it would just capture all those frames and put it together? I mean, that would be amazing.
You know, you do have a big sensor, right, on a full frame sensor, but you can effectively kind of just paint that area, and it might be able to extrapolate the parts you don't totally paint. You can do a lot of stuff with computational photography. You can't get those quick moments like, you know, Gretchen had in her photo, or the things where light's really specific, and you might not be able to do the thing where it goes out of focus, which we can't say because it's a taboo word.
Oh yeah.
What, you mean bokeh?
It's okay. We already did our critique. Okay, but I do have the final tabulation. Okay.
Well, that's amazing, right?
It is amazing. It is amazing. I had to do checksums to make sure the number of votes was in there, so on and so forth. But the ultimate winner of the premiere week of the Creation Wars is the cohort of Martin Bailey.
Yay!
I'm sorry. What was the apprentice's name again?
It's Christian Meermann, and he is going to be very happy. I'm really happy. Thanks, everyone, for your support. And this guy is so talented. They all are. It was really difficult to pick just one out of my 23 or so cohorts, because they all just create such beautiful work. But that's great. Thanks, guys.
It's fantastic, and also, Martin, I think it's a testament to you as their master for choosing this photo, for encouraging them. I mean, whatever has happened, you're definitely an X factor in that group. So, I know I appreciate it. I'm sure all of them appreciate it, and it's just unbelievable that photo. I'll never forget it. That photo. I don't think I'll actually forget it for the rest of my life. So,
Christian's actually going to be selling calendars of this. If we can get a link somewhere, I think it's maybe in stores in the UK and in Germany. I'm not sure if you can buy them online, but maybe if we put that somewhere.
Good. Yes, we'll get us a link. We'll put it in the YouTube whenever we make this public, so people can go get themselves a little lion calendar action. All right. So, congratulations. Now. And congratulations to everybody that was represented in this thing. They were all really good photos. There's a lot of really good votes here. In fact, there's a tie for second place. I won't say which ones, but there was good votes all around. So thank you.
Just leaves them.
That will stay on the private desk of Dumbledore, who the actual ranking. All right.
Oh, that should be like a Patreon level. Like if you're a certain patron, then a certain level of patron.
That's not a bad idea. We could reveal to that level.
Yeah. Right.
That's a good idea.
I think the Masters should have to do a challenge for the next show we do, where we have to do a photo with all 5 of the taboo words included in the theme of the photo. Like an excellent maze pirate or a pirate with a maze cleavage and shallow bokeh and 7 different languages or something.
Those were the taboo words there that she said, by the way. All right. Well, does anyone have any little tech tricks they want to share? You can jump in. Yes? No? No. I see Jessica nodding her head in a negatory position. AD?
Wait. You have to understand that when I started, the first class I sat in on, the teacher said, does anybody know the 3 things that control your light? And I went, ooh, I do. It's the shutter speed and the aperture and the ISO.
Izzo.
The ISO. Shizzo my ISO.
Izzo should have been one of the words tonight, man.
Do you guys have any photos you'd like to share that you've been working on lately or talk through? People want to see your photos too. It's nice of you to share the work of your apprentices, but I think people want to.
Can I go first? Because I actually have to go and pick up my wife.
Yes, go Pirate Ollie.
I'll go after Ollie.
Just got to fire up the ship and go.
Yes.
How pirate-like of you. I have to go pick up the wife and kids at soccer practice.
My wife. Sorry, I've got to go pick up my winch.
Thank you very much, man.
Is she a mermaid?
She's going to watch this.
She is. I just wanted to share a few of the photos I took over the weekend because not only are they of my beautiful family, but they're with my favorite lens of all time, the 45mm tilt shift. And plus also you guys don't get to see my family often, so I thought this was a good opportunity to share my beautiful family.
Aww.
Very cute.
What
She doesn't
is
have a beard.
Does that anyway?
So anyway, that's me. I got to fly. My ship is sailing. My winch is calling, literally on the phone. So I'm out. Thank you very much for everything, guys. It was a lot of fun.
All right,
Thanks,
Ollie.
Ollie.
Thanks,
Good to see you, Ollie.
Battery powered.
Hey, can I go next? Because I've got an appointment with my accountant in an hour, and it's across town.
Oh God, absolutely. This sounds terrible.
Yeah, so it's a couple of weeks old now, but just a few quick photos from Iceland, my recent tour and workshop I did over there. And I'm just going to quickly skip through these.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful place. He obviously. This shot I'm really loving. It's like I was set up and the light was shining through these growler-sized icebergs, and then all of a sudden it sort of came through this gap and made this little piece of deep glacial ice look like a prism. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. So I was really happy with that. And then we jumped on a Zodiac and went for an hour and a half cruise around the Jökulsárlón lagoon. And then the iconic Skogafoss, which I love. But yeah, just a few quick ones. Oh yeah, and I threw another one. This is the most recent one, just a peony a fire in a peony from the weekend. So that's me. I'm gonna have to zip off as well.
All right, thank you, Martin. By the way, there's a video in the Grand Library, is it there, of you and Doug talking about your trip to Iceland.
Yeah. Doug Kay, another one of the masters, was there with us. We had a blast. It was great.
Awesome. So everyone that has access to the Grand Library and the Arcanum, go search for that one. It's a good one. It's a winner chicken dinner. Thank you, Martin.
Okay, I'm going to jump off, guys. Sorry I have to leave.
Sure. No worries. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, next time, bring your accountant so he can help Trey with the votes.
I'll do that.
All right. See you, brother.
Cheers.
All
Trey,
right.
I'll jump in.
Go.
Go. All right. Well, this was a nice trip I took down to the Shenandoah Mountains, and I actually met up with a couple of Arcanum apprentices from other cohorts along the way. This is a little abandoned cabin down there, and the fog was rolling in. It was really pretty. And this was Luray Caverns, which was this is called the River of Dreams. And I did not meet with an Arcanum member here. We were just kind of doing this as a side tour. Pretty amazing place if you ever get the chance to shoot there. It's very difficult to shoot inside there because of tungsten lighting and natural lighting and crazy stuff going on. But and this is down at Fire Island, down on Long Island. But to get to the trip, this place here is an old silk mill in Maryland, and I met up with Trisha Booker, and she is in the Arcanum, and we hung out for the whole day and shot here at this old mill. And this mill was frozen in 1957 when the doors were closed, and nothing's been moved or changed since then. So everything is still there exactly the way it sat the day they closed it. So it's pretty awesome. And this little old guy is trying to basically preserve the place by himself, and so he takes in photography tours, and you pay $100 and you get 4 hours to shoot in this mill, and it's just everywhere you look there's these cool scenes and things. Wow. And the last place that I went was with Joe Newman, and he's in I forget whose cohort now. He met me, and it was raining this day in Gettysburg, and this is out on the battlefield, and these guys were out there on the battlefield in full wool garb and everything, just hanging out in the freezing cold. It was like 20 degrees, and this guy was gracious enough to come up and tell us his story, and all the tents and everything they were using were all authentic. There was no water protection or anything like that. So pretty amazing, and a great time to actually hang out with some members of another cohort. It was a little fun.
That picture was so cool that I actually thought, and I'm not kidding, I thought, why did he take a picture of like some 150-year-old picture?
Well, you know, it's funny. I had to shoot that at like 3200 ISO, and so there was a little noise involved there. But so I ended up going black and white with it. But I thought it really did justice for the textures and things. Did justice for the subject matter. Those guys are part of the New York 154th Infantry, and they follow the tracks of the original infantry, and once they started, doesn't matter what the weather's like or whatever, they do the exact recount of the trek across the battlefield. Pretty amazing.
It makes me feel safe to know that those guys are out there, because if Russia or China ever attacks us with fixed bayonets, we're covered.
Right. Yeah, I don't know about these guys. I don't even think those would hurt these guys, but I don't know.
So Trey, you have to kind of like hit the opening of his story there. That sounds like an Arcanum like leader for you there. If you're ever walking through the forest and imagine a level 7 warlock right over here meeting you. That's what his story kind of sounded like. You could just cut that and splice it in.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to share last. I always go last. I only have one photo to share. But Jessica, how about Jessica, you and Karen Hutton, and then Gino, you could even throw one in for.
Okay. So I'm going to actually just share direct from my website, since we were talking about the door. And this is one of the blog posts that we were doing, because this door did take me like a month to make. So you can see like all the little pieces that were going into the creation of it, and all the extra hands. Like, that's my daughter working on it, and all the detail work. And Trey, you'll appreciate this. So I got to go with you to Montana for that awesome like behind-the-scenes Arcanum Master Retreat there on short notice. And I was really upset because we did the shot of the door. We have this big field by my house. And so we set it up, but then I was like not happy with the background. So when you see the final image, this is from the fields that we were taking the horses through. Up in Montana, where the trees had burned down, and there was like this dichotomy of all the trees that had been part of the forest fire, and they were almost like these like natural epitaphs, and then there were all these wildflowers. So I actually took some of the shots that I was shooting in Montana when I was hanging out with you guys, and that was the composite for the final image with the door.
Wow, that is really awesome. I'm super impressed.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
Super duper awesome. Actually, I have a blog post coming up about that in a few days with you and Renee and Curtis and everybody. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
That came out really awesome. So you already posted that photo? Yeah, because I want to see.
Yeah, this one's on the Reliquarian site, and then we have the other one from the shot was more of the close-up of the door. Let's see.
So it almost has to be impossible for you to figure out how much time was spent to create that image between actually making the door, getting all the different composite images, the amount of time to put them all together and come up. I mean, that's an incredible amount of time to have spent making that image.
It was about 136 hours because I keep tally marks.
So,
and it was also 56 glue sticks and 3 bottles of Mod Podge and half a tree.
Wow.
It's really
That's
cool.
amazing.
Color palette.
That is so outside of my abilities.
Look, the really cool thing is that I made everything in this shot. I spent a month making the door. I spent 9 months making the girl. I made the dress. Like, I made all of it. I think that's really cool.
That is awesome.
9 months making the girl. That's pretty fun.
Well played, JL. Okay, Hut, go.
Oh, God. That's real unfair to make me go after that. It's just not fair in any way, shape, or form. But I'll do it.
Karen, I got to do something to try to keep up with you.
I don't know. No, it's not fair. It's just not fair. So, to be honest, I kind of forgot we were doing this. So I just went, what? This part.
You can pull out any old thing from the closet. It's amazing.
Well, so this was up, it was kind of a standard shot at this falls up in Washington State, but I gave it my K-Hut treatment, and I like it. It's a lot of these are vertical. I don't know why I've been doing vertical lately, but I've been doing vertical lately. So so this was that, and you had to kind of get down, and it doesn't look dangerous at all, but one wrong move, and I was in the drink right there, bam. So that was kind of fun. I've been going to New York some this year, and this is a big church right by where I stay when I go. And it just makes me nuts, this place. And even the name of it, it's the Cathedral Church of St. John the Divine. It's not like, the corner church. It's like got this big name. And I did do some photos in the center. You can't see this incredible piece of art. It's like a mobile. It's a big pair of dragons. But anyway, I just think this church is amazing. I'm doing a little return to my roots with some black and white studies of things.
That's fantastic, Karen.
Thank you. I love it. It's way up in the mountain near where I live, where it's just battle scarred by winter and snow.
Looks
and
like
wind.
you left a little hint of color in the back there. That's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a little different treatment than I've done in the past, and I liked it. So that's what I've been.
Battle scarred by winter. I love that.
Mm-hmm. And so I've been doing some kind of going back to her roots, kind of literally in some sense, with that. And then I'd been nose to the grindstone for months and months, and I finally cut myself loose and went down the eastern Sierras, and it just happened to snow this one day in the fall when we were there, and got this. So I was very excited. It was just a beautiful morning, and I just felt treated to this. I think we're at 9,000 up here getting this thing early in the morning. It was great fun. So there you go. Is there one more? Oh, just messing about with, that kind of thing. So there you have it. The latest from the hut.
The latest from the hut.
Yeah.
Karen, I lost your work.
I lost yours. I lost the ability and the imagination to do that. I'm like, I want to do that, but I can't do that.
Let's stop the internet scissoring. Gino, it's your turn.
Internet wedding?
Nothing. I just made it up. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean. Do not Google.
Yeah.
No. Gino, go.
No, it's all right. Actually,
is there an event called speed backstroking? Because I think Trey just won it. I think he just invented it and won it in one move.
I'm not going to screen share anything other than to just show this image back that's in the backdrop is 4 foot by 6 foot that's going to the city of Austin tomorrow. Is buying this. Trey, you'll know this one. Although Karen, you may have seen it too because you've been to Austin a few times. Mm-hmm. There's a big mural in town. The Greetings from Austin mural looks just like that.
Yep.
And so the city of Austin is they're having a bunch of fat cat politicians in town so they can all grease each other's palm and talk about how awesome they are. And they wanted a big backdrop that they could use. And so they had me print this up real big, so I'm taking that down there to them tomorrow. And so that would be kind of fun, get to go down there and grease some palms and meet some folks that buy stuff up in the city of Austin, the City Hall. So anyway, I got that going on. I'm not really prepared to screen share anything, but that's something fun that I was doing.
That's cool. Way to go, Gino.
Yeah, and it's real thick too. It's normally I don't get them printed that thick, but the image was so big that I thought it would be better to print it really thick. So that's a 2-inch thick border, and it's so big you can actually see all the texture and in the wall, and it just came out really fun, and I like it a lot. I want to print one for my house now. I like it so much.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like printing things.
I will share just one image here. Actually, not this image, but this is a trending hashtag that I understand. It's called Pound Wine and Creation Wars. And if you look closely at the name of that wine bottle, it's called Mad Housewife.
Nice. I want it.
Yeah. Now, I'll share an actual image that I'm working on. Okay. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. I'm sharing Photoshop. This is an image from Burning Man. It's a really cool sculpture called Embrace. And they actually spent like $250,000 to make this. It only stood for 4 days, and then they burned it down. And so to make this, I used about 30 different textures. I know it takes a long time for stuff to resolve over the web, so I'm sorry for that. But I just really had a great time just playing with different textures and trying different blend modes and all kinds of stuff. Probably one of my favorite accidental areas. Actually, you know, it's all like a train wreck when you're using textures. And then what you do is you go through and find the parts that work. And one of my favorite parts that works is this area up here, because it almost felt, when you zoom in, you know, you can see all the texture and stuff. Actually, these were some textures I got in Africa, this old abandoned place. But I felt like these were like hot embers. When you zoom out, they feel like hot embers pouring out of the black smoke on the crowd below. Anyway, I wish I could say I spent, you know, over 100 hours like Jessica and so many people spend on their images. It didn't take quite that long, but anyway, it's a joy, isn't it, to lose track of time and work on interesting things.
I love it. That's beautiful. I love textures. They're so much fun. They just always turn out different than you think they're going to. It's like an advent calendar. It's like an additive advent calendar. Instead of opening doors and counting down the days, you're like opening the doors and it adds another day. Anyway, think about that.
Advent calendars, I was that scene from Bad Santa when Billy Bob Thornton just ripped into that kid's advent calendar one night.
I don't think about that when I say that.
They have, here in New Zealand, they have non-denominational advent calendars from this place called Sniggle. It's like this shop. And anyway, the kids love it. Not that it has anything to do with religion or not religion, but they have these amazing toys behind every door. It's like a big deal. It's like the most awesome advent calendar that's full of toys.
I'm all in favor of life being like a big fat advent calendar. It's a really great attitude to have, I think. It's sort of like, what's behind this door? Oh my God!
Yeah.
The Hershey's Kiss.
That's true. Life is like an advent calendar with 365 doors per year.
Thank you very much. Thank you for working with
me,
ladies and gentlemen. That's how I feel.
Gino has the dog there. What's up, Gino?
Jode was chewing on his little squeak toy right outside my door. Incessant. That's what he does whenever you don't pay attention to him. He just makes a lot of noise until you open the door. So I figured, what the heck? Put him on the TV.
I like how we're looking at the camera.
Gino is a Siamese twin.
Yes. Only this is the better part right here. Way better look.
All right, you guys. Well, we'll wrap up the show now, at least the main part of the show. Who knows what will happen in the after show. But I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank all the masters for coming. Stuart, thank you for being here. Stuart, You're so quiet. You don't have to be so quiet over there. What time is it where you are? I think it's ungodly. Yes?
It's about 4 a.m.
Oh, God.
Wow. And you are in what city?
I'm just outside Edinburgh in Scotland, so
Right.
it's
Party down!
Yes, absolutely.
Oh
But
my
anyway,
God,
I
I'm
want to
so
thank
in love with your accent.
thank everyone for watching. Every episode may not be this long. I don't know. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go. But give us your feedback. Do you like it long? I mean, we could sit around and talk about and share photos forever. I mean, you don't have to. You might go for 6 hours if we're not on some sort of a time schedule. But anyway, give us feedback. We're building this show with you, for you. We're all together in this thing. So please let us know what you think. All right. Anyway, goodbye, everybody. Now comes the time where we just wave and say awesome things and that sort of stuff. Okay, bye.
Awesome things.
Awesome things.
Awesome
Thanks, indeed. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks, Gino. Awesome. Bye.
Bye, guys.
And scene.